Hi, I'm Brandon Bellar. I am excited to be on this episode of ALT's Roleplay. And if you're ready, we're going to begin. Gabrielle and the Kiss of the Spider Woman. This song, it was small. It was just a small featured piece of the music. Kiss of the Spider Woman takes place, I think it's like set in the 70s, South America. Man is put in prison for allegedly molesting an underage boy, and while he is there, he is gay, his cellmate is not, and they kind of have this very intense friendship bond that turns into something deeper. Not really romantic, but yes, it just is an interesting story about how these two men bond, just sharing this cell, and how he escapes through the Spider-Woman and this actress's movies. Gabrielle was the friend of Melina's who he had worked with, who actually Melina had fallen in love with, had sent him all of these gifts, and the friend didn't really know how to react while they were face to face. So when he went to prison, he writes him this letter, which is what I sang, and telling him that he's sorry that he's been taken away. He knows he's innocent, and he's sorry if he never told him that he appreciated his friendship, even though he knew that the connection that Melina wanted was not what Gabrielle could give him. So what this character is singing to Melina, who was a friend of his before he went into prison, is just so heartwarming and sincere. Just the way that Candor and Ebb wrote this piece of music was just so much fun to get to sing this one. So I'm gonna go with this one, and just for the singing role. Tito, lend me a tenor. This character, it's farce, so there's a lot of in and out mistaken identities, slamming doors. He's Italian, so the fun part about this was learning a new dialect too, but just how over the top he was, and he and the wife would get in these ridiculous fights on stage with each other, and then they would make up. So then he was kind of a little bit of a player. He wanted to be a player, but he wasn't very good at it, which is what's kind of funny about the role of Tito, because every time that something happened to him with another woman, he kind of would tense up. He was just really funny and over the top. I think that was the funniest. Probably, maybe not the character was so much funny as just what was happening on stage. Maybe not the lines were so much, but just how over the top this character was with the accent and the screaming. Fun character, fun show. I got to sing in that one too, just a little bit. Josh Gibson actually played Max with me, so he and I sang this duet of me teaching him how to sing like a tenor. So a lot of fun show that we did at WT back in the day. Seymour, Little Shop of Horrors. Did I say it right? Horrors. Little Shop of Horrors. Sounds like another show I did, but Seymour's a bucket list role for me. And as we all know, I'm getting a little long in the tooth here to play this role. Number one, just because of I think how much fun the character is, the music. It's Ashman and Menken, one of their big musicals that a lot of people may not know that they wrote that together, as well as Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. They wrote a lot of really fun music. It's right in a really fun place for me to sing in my range. The music in the show that I'm really enjoying singing, I think probably Grow For Me is one of my fun character songs. I can kind of plug a little bit of who Seymour is into that, and also a little bit of the camp of the style. Probably my favorite thing to sing is in Get It with the plant, and I have the breakout moment where I'm trying to debate whether I want to kill people or not. And I have the big stop, and I step up on the platform and start singing. That is my favorite piece, a section of music that I think that I get to sing in the whole show. I think the other thing that I've gotten to know about this character, portraying him so far, is just how sincere he is. And I think that's kind of one of the most endearing things about him, because I mean, the character always looked really fun to play, kind of nerdy, like to jump into it, you know, to have a lot of fun. You could do some characterization stuff, all great, but kind of when you start digging into it, you just see how sincere he is. It's just, you get what you get with Seymour, and I loved playing this role so far. Corny Collins in Hairspray. This was a role I wanted. Like it's one of those few times that you show up to an audition and you're hungry. Like you want it, like you're there to, that was my goal. I think what made me the most nervous about playing Corny Collins was that he's pretty iconic, and especially with the movie that had come out, and then I think, of course, right after we staged it, Derek Huff played him in the NBC Live version. So I mean, Corny Collins is pretty iconic. Also, I mean, the original movie, even that Corny Collins, people remember from the '80s, but even more so, people are familiar with Broadway and then the movie. James Marsden, who, like, you know, how do I compete with that? I'm like, I just try. You know, I wish I had a real glint that came off my teeth when I smiled. Again, a really fun show musically, vocally for me, and of course that character. He's just your typical, you know, '60s TV show host. But what you don't see, I think, with the character, when you get into it, is the depth that he really has, and about the subject matter of what's going on in the show. But man, yeah, really nervous to play him, but Alan and Crystal and Jen, all three, just set me up for success there in their direction, and just made it come out flawless. So this is one of the roles I'm one of the most proud of. So. Ensemble and producers. What kind of pushed me over the edge finally was the little old lady costumes that we had to wear. And trust me, I mean, obviously, and I'm gonna plug, and hopefully he sees this, Raymond Gerard's costume is always flawless and fantastic. Beautiful stuff that Ula got to wear. But for those of us who were hoofing it in the background, constantly changing costumes and in just fun, different stuff, the Village People stuff was so much fun to wear. But the little old ladies, because I remember the first day we start getting these costumes on, I'm looking in the mirror, and I put on the wig, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I look and I say, I look like Paula Deen. Y'all, I'm serious, I look just like Paula Deen, y'all. It was the most insane thing. Like, give me some butter, I look just like her. I just remember thinking, okay, well, good to know what I would look like as my grandmother. So much fun doing that. I think just because of the costume changes in that show, were so much fun, and just getting to be all those different characters. So that's why I would have to say, best costumes that I had would have been ensemble and the producers. MC and Cabaret. This was a college role, so much fun. It pushed my limits of what I was comfortable with doing on stage. And I think that as an older performer who now doesn't care, I really think that I could do a lot more with this character. I would love to reprise this role as the MC in Cabaret, just as an older, more seasoned performer, to see what I could do with it, and how far I could take it, and where I could push that characterization of the MC. I think I would have played up a little bit more of the fact that he knew what was going on, despite what was, and that was the whole point of the show, is that you're in the club, and it was a way of escape for the people of Berlin to avoid what was going on with the Third Reich taking over. But I think that was the thing about the MC that I don't think I could have pushed more, and I think that's why he has the whole androgynous side, because it's this whole thing of he's pushing the envelopes. But I think I would have played up a little bit more of the fact that he knew what was going on a lot better than everyone in the club. You know, he's the oracle. You know, he was projecting and predicting the chaos. I think I would have probably played that angle a little bit more up with the MC. closest cast is Jerry in the Full Monty. Because there's nothing that makes you closer to your cast than being naked on stage together. I've done a lot of smaller shows that you do get close to the cast. I think probably too is because the 6 of us were together so much. Between choreography with you, blocking, and then, you know, I think too, we had that level of friendship as we were building that, and then we knew we were gonna have to get down to our skivvies. Well, I don't think we really realized what was fated for it to happen to us on preview night. But we became a very close cast. Some of the other casts up here that are smaller, I was kind of closer friends to these people, like when I was trying to choose. I was kind of closer to those people, but as far as coming together and talking about people, like, you know, Steve was new, Paul was new, Chad was new. I mean, some of these people who the majority of us were not friends until we started working on this show, and we all became friends, and we are all still friends. The whole cast was just fun. I mean, you have Kim Schreffler, you know, fake playing the piano, smoking a cigarette, and drinking scotch. I mean, booze, you know, crude jokes, booze, blues, blue humor, and balls. I mean, just what else could you ask for? But yeah, that's this musical, Jerry and the Full Monty, closest cast that I think I've been in. I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. This had so many heartwarming moments. Probably one of my favorite from here, and it's one of the reasons I love it with all my heart, is the end of the show. Riley and I were able to close that out. And if you don't know Riley Downs Brown, look her up. She's gonna be big someday. She is beautiful and talented and as kind and as sweet as she is those other things. And we get to play this couple and meet at a funeral, and they establish this connection over the song I Can Live With That, about you know, they've had this whole past life and they're in their last stage, and it's just about how it's really never too late to find love, and never too late to let that part of you go and to give that part of you to someone, because these are people who had a huge full life, whatever was behind them, good, bad, and had buried these spouses, and the whole point was that, you know, it's not the same as it used to be. But if there's that connection, I can live with that. I can live with your problems, you can live with mine. And I think that was probably, despite the fact that I got to do it with one of my absolute best friends, it's just that story, and it ties together so nicely the show that has hysterical, funny moments in it about marriage, relationships, but it ties it all into this really neat little package of what's worth it and what's meaningful. And that's probably why this is one of those roles that I do actually love with all my heart. Was Man 1, I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. Okay, so the role that I've wanted to play the longest, actually it's going on right now at ALT, it's crazy enough. Seymour in the Little Shop of Horrors. We are on stage at the main stage, October 25th through November 4th. So please come see us. Come see this great, it's funny, it's campy, it's mysterious, it's a little spooky for Halloween, but it's got a lot of heart and a lot of soul, and it's gonna be a lot of fun for you to watch. So don't miss Little Shop of Horrors at the ALT main stage, October 25th through November 4th.